welcome back to the BookFest Club. I'm your co-host Jay, along with my co-host Key, and our other third party, Mr. Jules, is not in the building today, so we miss you. Just know we thinking about you, brother. We know you got other stuff going on, but we are joined by Yasmeen. We want to thank you for. Well, first let's give us some round of applause for joining us today.
Yes.
Taking it off.
We're here to talk about her debut novel, Keep It Cute, a story of three friends, Jace, Tiana, and Lauren, and how they navigate their crazy and drama-filled life in the ATL area. You guessed it, but all while keeping it cute. Firstly, thank you, like I said before off camera, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to allow us to interview you. So we appreciate that. How was your week going for so far, Miss Yasmeen?
Good. Here in Atlanta, it's starting to warm up a little bit, but I don't like being hot, so I don't.
I literally got my air going now. I am
Listen,
burning
I got
up.
the fan. It was on full blast. I turned it down because I didn't want it to pick up. But I'm like, girl, I'm not turning this fan off.
Nah, you good. You good. You wrote a book, right? And this is your first book, I believe, Keep It Cute, written by yours truly. For one of our, audience out there, what made you choose Atlanta, for your backdrop story? It was super dope that you included Prest and you included Rashida, inside your book, both which is actually located in Atlanta. So what made you, want to do that?
I live in Atlanta. I've been living here for 16 years now. I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona. So this is like home for me. And at the time when I started writing the book, I started the book literally 9 years ago, just as like escapism. I had just turned 30. And you know how 30 is just like, you think it's like, when I'm 30, I'm gonna have the white picket fence and I'm gonna have this, that, and the
Yes.
third. And so I'm 30 and I'm like, girl, what is this? This is real ghetto. Oh, that's a little good. And so I was literally sad one day. And so I sat on my couch and I had never written a book before. I always journaled and I've always been like a reader. And I had this wild idea to just like, okay, I'm gonna write a story just because I was sad and I needed to put the energy somewhere. And so literally out of the top of my head came out Jace, Tiana, and Lauren Giselle. And that was it. And so because I was in Atlanta, these girls, they're 29, about to be 30, it just connected very deeply to me. A part of it, I'm like, obviously it's not like a autobiography, but I definitely drew from like some real life experiences that either I had or people around me, and I wanted it to be raw and relatable.
Right. Okay. You want to go to the next question?
Yeah, and I also want to say that's kind of what I loved about Keep It Cute is that it's a story about three friends. These are three professional women. Like one's an influencer, one's a teacher, one's a psychiatrist. And you would think that these are women who have everything together. Because like you said, when you turn 30, it's like everybody expects you have your career down, you have your job, you have this. And it was so comforting reading about three women who, like, for example, Lauren struggling with her purpose and finding her purpose. That's something that I dealt with when I turned 30. So you making it relatable, I definitely related to it. And I think other readers would definitely relate to it as well. And something you also mentioned was you did take inspiration from your personal life. I was reading in your acknowledgments and you thanked your friends, Keita, Megan, and Shantae. And I was curious if there were real women in your life who inspired the characters of Lauren, Tiana, and Jace. Jace, yes.
It's so funny that you said that because I didn't think about it until you just said it. But they aren't the women that I necessarily drew from when I wrote the book. But I think just like living life and having experiences and literally not knowing what's going on. And I'm about to be 40 in May, and
you
I
look
still
beautiful, by the way. You said you were like, 9 years ago I was turning 30. I'm like, how old is she now?
Yeah, no, literally, I'm gonna be 40 in May. People always like, you look so young. I'm like, no, it's childish. Like, I'm just childish. Like, no, I'm childish. No, but I just drew from like my life and just, when you have girlfriends and they talking about dating or, just wild stuff. So it's kind of like a combination of people that like flushed out these characters, and some stuff like the Shane character in the book, that was like a real person that was in my life. So it's just like, and like I said, when I wrote this, I had no intentions of this ever meeting like going anywhere. It was just something that it was like my escapism. Like, okay, I just go to it to like escape. And then it was just like my own little world. Like when life got crazy, I'm like, let me open my laptop. Let me just
write it down.
Yeah, let me just make up this world. So when I finally decided to release it last year, I didn't expect what I'm getting. Like, I was just like, girl, what is this? Nobody's going, girl, what is this? And so the way people take to it and they like, wow, like these girls sound like me or just those things. And I'm like, really? Like, I think I still suffer from like imposter syndrome because this was such a hard pivot for me because my background is in accounting. So like that's
So this
very
is the
like analytical,
whole new
very
world.
analytical to like, but I always felt like this. And I think that's probably why I felt so confused at 30 because it's like I followed the yellow brick road. You know, I went to college and I did the thing and you're doing a 9 to 5, you're the corporate girly. But I'm like, what is this? It has to be more.
Yeah.
And I've always been very creative. I've always been like a daydreamer. I've always used to like create like this whole situation in my head. So once I decided to do this, I'm like, wow, it feels like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and well, we definitely resonated very, very well with it. My bad, Jay. Go ahead.
No, you good because this all brings it too. Because in the in the author note, you talked about how you in a dark place. When you started this book. How did this book and writing the stories of the FMCs did it help you heal any part of your life that was going on?
For sure. And at the time, I don't know that that's what I knew it was doing. Like I said, from that moment, I was just like, I need to put this energy somewhere. And I was just like, I'm gonna write this and just, go about with my life. But I was always feeling pulled towards it. And so something that I use for escapism to just escape my real life through these women, as wild and crazy as they are, they're all a part of me. And through their healing journey and through every, thing they were going through, something that I use for escapism, these women like pushed me back to me. Because, and through this journey of writing this book, one thing that I realized is that you can escape you. You always, anything, and my grandmother used to always tell me this. I remember I was telling her about something. I think I was being sad or something. No, I was going through a breakup. I'm like, oh, this is what's going on. And so I was like, oh, they don't like me anymore. And so she calls me. She's like, well, do you like you?
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's deep. That's deep right there.
And she was like, well, how about you work on liking you? And she said, because anybody else that comes into your life, they're just visitors. You're stuck with you.
That's true.
I realized that like I was always like running from myself or like, you cringe about, your younger version of you. But through the journey, I realized that I had to honor and hold space for every version of me because they took a lot of blows for me to be able to stand here and be this person that I am, to still look good, almost 40.
Yes.
So it's like they took a lot of blows for me to be this. But through the book, it was like you go back and you reconcile all those things with yourself and don't like shy away from it or be scared of it because they did a lot of heavy lifting. And the reason why I probably felt so unsettled is because the little girls in me were probably like, why you keep leaving us? You keep abandoning us for all these other things, whether it's a job, whether it's a man, whether it's these things outside of you, keep abandoning us. But when those things don't work out, it's us. We're still here. Like, hey, girl, what about us?
Been here.
What about us?
Through the journey, I was just like, I'm not abandoning myself for other things. And so I know we weren't kind of deep, but
no, you good.
That's
you
okay.
Good. Right. This is what the books do.
I was like,
this is
I'm
your
not
story.
abandoning myself for anything else. And with the characters, they're so raw and they're so human. And I wanted them to be fully fleshed out because I was navigating in a world where it's like, oh, you look really pretty or you have the job and on paper you look together. But like at night, it was like, bro, I was crying. I was sad. I was depressed. I was all these things. And with these women, I wanted them to be outward facing, looking, doing the things, but inward, they all had these internal things that we're dealing with. I wanted there to be such a harsh juxtaposition between Jace being a teacher, having to be like this authoritative figure, But she childish as hell. You know what I mean? Like,
He is so childish. Yes, very socially awkward, navigating that dating world after Shane and figured out, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm still kind of in love with this man. And I laughed through her journey of dating. Toxic, yes. She's dating two different men in the course of the book and trying to like juggle these two people because she's never had to do that.
And you ain't built for this, babe.
Yes, she wasn't. But it was just the fact that she was a teacher. She wasn't like when like when you think of Atlanta, I think of like, girls in dresses going out clubbing all the time. But
same here.
And these women in the book, they definitely do a lot of that, but they also have like really strong professional lives. And like you said, it's like it made it real because these are people that we see in our real life. We see teachers, we see social media influencers, we see the psychiatrists, and we think all of these people completely have their lives together because look at what they do. Like they're their age and just going behind the scenes and just that brings me to my next question. I resonated the most with Lauren. I'm trying to be a social media influencer. I look around at people who like my co-host Jay, his career, Jules, his career, they seem so passionate about it, so grounded in it. And I was reading, I felt just like her because she was like, what's my purpose? I look at my friends, they want to do more with psychiatry. She got this teaching initiative. And I felt like Lauren, like, I don't really know what my purpose is and I'm aimless in life. So going along and following on her journey where she finds love and she finds her purpose, I really, really resonated with. And I was curious, you say you talk about these characters and that you healed through them. Was there one character that you felt like this is most like me? Or maybe there's a little bit of you in each of these characters. I'm just curious about where their personality traits came from and which one you resonated the most with.
Jay's for sure personality is me. Like when my little girls look at this, they like, girl.
They like, that's you.
Okay, good plan. Like personality wise, like her awkwardness, like her being kind of childish and she has like this youthfulness to her. Like that's definitely me. But then like Lauren's journey, I appreciated the most because from where she started to like where she ended and also something I was very intentional about in the book is although like Lauren is supposed to be like this hoe or whatever, Lauren only has sex with, and I didn't even write it in the book that she had sex with Deshaun. I didn't do any sex scenes with him. I just inferenced it that, they do that. And the only person she was with was Trevor. Yeah. And I, because I have such a dope relationship with my grandmother, she passed away, me and her were so close. The dynamic between Lauren and her abuela was like, it was so warm to me because that's how me and my grandmother were. And then also I wanted to humanize Lauren because, people think like, oh, she just an IG baddie. She just be fucking for bags or whatever. Literally, but it's like her backstory, like she had a mom that, died of a drug overdose when she was 7. She was raised by her grandmother who doesn't have a lot. She had her uncle, but, she's trying to piece her life together. And sometimes when you are operating out of survival and she's just like, what's helping me get along? And it's like, oh, I'm pretty. And men are drawn to that. So I'm going to just lean into that. And so even when she met Trevor, I wanted something to challenge her in a way where she meets someone and they're just like, oh yeah, you pretty, but
what else?
But what else? Yeah.
I like that part of the book. When they first met, she's used to men just automatically wanting to be with her. Yes, groveling, wanting to get busy with her, wanting to have sex. And Trevor was just kind of like, all right, have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
She had to call
what else
him
you want me to do?
Like what's up? What's wrong? And he was just like, I just didn't really think that we were compatible. Because she was used to dealing at the surface level with these men. And Trevor, although he's very successful, he wanted a little bit more. He didn't want just another Instagram baddie. So that's why I said I just really like Lauren. I feel like she had the biggest transformation for me just from the beginning. Like you said, I never thought of her as a hoe. I just thought of her as a woman who she's using what she got to get what she wants. And she only messed around with men who could do something for her. She never messed around with bums. And I don't know, I just really like that about her. Like maybe
and
she
said
did.
That on top. She
said
like,
that all the time.
I not do broke niggas.
She don't. And her honesty about who she was and who she wanted to be. That is what, because I feel like you said, coming to that realization of, okay, this is my life. This is not where I want my life to be. And Lauren being like, okay, I don't want just this surface level stuff. I got to get my life together. I can't do this Instagram stuff forever. And even speaking of her relationship relationship with her abuela, that was just beautiful. I'm really close to my grandma too. I was kind of raised by her. I lived with her at one certain point in my life. So that's why I said I just really, really love Lauren. She was always there for her girls, always there. Like when they got in a fight with the girlfriend and she's there, like she was a ride or die type of friend. You good? Literally. And she was like, yeah, I got an ass whooping waiting on her. So, so she was just always my favorite character. So just hearing from you, like the thought and the care and the intention that went into her, I thought that was really dope.
But
for sure. Like I said, because sometimes we meet people and you have to realize like people are multifaceted and they have dimensions to them. And people are different people in different situations. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're fake. It just means like they know how to move around in spaces. And so even with Tiana, and Tiana was loosely based on somebody that I knew.
Okay.
And so like
Tiana, her story was crazy. I love that she was a psychiatrist and she was the one cheating.
Like, bruh.
You know what? And the person that I knew, she is a therapist. She was married and she was moving crazy. And so that's how, and instead of her, she didn't end up in a hospital, but she did get dragged down the street. Like they was tired of playing with her.
Does she know that it's her? Does she know that that's her? Has she read? Well, she gonna have to figure it out.
Lives anymore.
Well, that's
she
on
hears
her.
about it and pick up the book, she could be like, why these characters seem so familiar?
So much like me.
And that's
it's like she drew.
Like, girl, she is stressing me out. And I think it kind of made you think like what people do isn't always who they are.
Yes.
You know, because you have to think about it. Like when you're at work, like you probably have like your professional voice and you carry yourself a certain way. And then outside of that, it's like, girl, but where the blood's at?
Literally.
Yo.
No, but that's how Tiana was. And I love that, T, because it surprised me because at first I was like, dang, how are you going to be the one counseling other people? But you out here just creeping on your girlfriend, not to mention the girlfriend that got pregnant, had a whole abortion, everything. But their story was just crazy. And I just, like you said, there's levels to it. And I just love that, yes, she's a psychiatrist, like you said. That's what she has her degree in. That's her professional life. But in her private life, she does not have it together. Matter of fact, she's doing stuff that I'm sure she would not be recommending her clients to do. Like she was crazy, but even her story reminded me of, I have a sibling who has went through something very, very similar. You know, women is crazy. You do not like really, we're crazy when it comes to men, but let two women be together. Oh, we go, it's going to get wild. So her story, I just really, really loved her story as well. I just, again, that contrast, that Instagram baddie. So she gets off on her looks, but she's still a little bit insecure about the fact that men only want her for her looks. The psychiatrist who counsels other people, but in her personal life, she is literally creeping. Jace, who is supposed to be, she's the one who's supposed to be counseling these children. She's supposed to seem like she has it all together. And yet she is stuck in this kind of like love square with Shane and the two men that she's dating. So it just, like you said, that duality. Y'all know what word I'm trying to
duality.
Yes, the duality of the characters. I feel like they have levels. And I just really, really think that speaks to your writing, that you can write characters that they got a messy life, but they also have professional life. But that's also
the part where I was going with it.
Yeah.
The messiness and the professionalism. It's like you see us in one light, you know, because when people write that and they messy, they think of hood, they think of urban, you know what I'm saying? Non-successful careers. But the fact that you have these women in these high class professions, honorable professions, because when you look at a psychiatrist, when you look at a teacher, if it was the end of the world, these are the professions that you would, you know, you would want if you were starting a new civilization. So to have them at that highest peak, they not Atlanta work. I don't know what that is. It Atlanta Metro? They're not Atlanta Metro. No shade to nobody. I'm just saying they're not like, you know, Atlanta Metro or something like that. You know, they have high professions, but they, you know, they keep the ground to keep them grounded. They a little messy too.
They a little messy.
They got a little itch, and they, you know,
that
they need to scratch.
It's very quintessential Atlanta, because Atlanta is a very Black, like successful city.
Yes,
but it was like you will go out and you would meet somebody and y'all all taking shots together. You're like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm an attorney. And it's like, nigga, where you got a grill with?
Literally.
Like, why are you here?
I've never been to Atlanta, but it's one of those places that I've
been there
always
one
wanted to
time.
visit because, like you said, it's Black successful businesses. Like when I think of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, I know that they think that that's bad, but I mean, there's so many successful business people on those shows, and you just look at like it's a cornucopia of Black professionalism. Like, you know, you got lawyers, doctors, attorneys, like all these big businesses, and they still be turning up at the end of the night. Like, you know what I mean?
Think of it as like an actual town.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to any other city where it's just like there's people who own restaurants or own this or own that, it's the same thing here. They just look like you. So it's just like, you know, one of the jobs that I had, I actually worked there for 7 years. It was a Black-owned company.
Mm-hmm.
The owner, he was maybe like 50. He used to come to work with some Timbs on. He used to be whipping his Tahoe, bumping. And it was just like,
we could still be us and still be in a profession.
You have to like be here. So like in the books, it was just literally like, you know, teachers that's like, oh, I teach kindergarten. And then outside of that, you like,
what? Really?
Literally, when
so we don't know these niggas in the club because you talking to all of them.
Jace is turning up. She's a teacher, and she's just like, yeah, I gotta smoke a blunt real quick before I go in because these kids.
But that's real life, though.
But
you know, me being
that's why I said
a school safety officer in the school. I promise you, the teachers be like that. Yo, where you going? We going to Texas Roadhouse because we need about 6 shots. You just was walking shots, Miss Johnson. No, and you gotta come back. I gotta call you. So I understand.
The characters feel a lot more real.
I just like take an edible and just go to work. Like
you literally.
I just close the office. I just close the door. Like don't come up in here because you're not gonna get much. Okay, you're not getting no money.
Yeah, but again, these people who can separate to their professional lives and their personal lives, I feel like they didn't really let their personal lives interfere too much with their professional life. Like Jay, she met Shane I think they met at school.
Yeah,
you know?
He was a guidance counselor.
He was a guidance counselor, and she was still a really good teacher, even after their whole thing broke up, even after he left. It wasn't like she just spiraled and lost her job or anything. So I love that too, just when you read the book and you can see, they be turning up, but their professional lives are very, very important to them. They've worked hard to get to where they are. And that's why I said they really feel like best friends. I wanted to be the fourth person in that group. And I was telling T, this is something that I realized about books authored by Black women. Their beauty routine was off the chain. I mean, they ran Red Bottom Hills. There was this one perfume that T had in the book. I forget what it's called now. Yes. And I sent it to her because I was like, I want to smell like these characters. Like, these is bad bitches in this book. You know what I mean? Like, they literally look good, smell good. I looked up this perfume. It's like $100. Right. I was like, T, you trying to have us rob the bank. So I will say that I had so much fun reading this book because this author, T, is very, very imaginative with their outfits, with their clothes, with their shoes. And she would be like, oh, they have on this maxi skirt with these red bottom heels and these this. I could picture every single outfit they had on.
Trying.
Literally.
I just be thinking nasty. So I got to like fall. I'm sorry. I mean, it's the truth though, right? I mean, some of them scenes is...
No, literally. And they outfits be on point. Like, so I would literally be like, I would wear that. I would wear this. And I could picture every single thing they wear, how they smell, the lotions they use. That's one thing I would say. I just had so much fun, like mix and matching their outfits. I mean, you see the women on the cover of the book. They're absolutely beautiful. But I mean, look at them. Look at them. I just want to shout out the cover. Like, they're beautiful women. Like, look at
that's another thing too. The artistic, it's a 3-part question I want to ask. The artwork of the book, right? Like, what conjured that spirit to have, keep it cute, but then you have the 3, African American women.
These beautiful women.
Part of that question is like, which character surprised you the most as you was writing the story? Almost like a think like, damn, word. And then you keep writing. And then the third part to that question is, it was a scene like Sex and the City, right? Is the shared movie for the trio of women, right? What were the events that inspired you, like, to write from that perspective of that show?
Yeah, like, are you a fan of Sex and the City?
You know, I'm old.
You good. What character surprised? The artwork.
Okay, so like I said, because these characters were like versions of me, when I was writing these characters, guys, my witness, I saw them. I knew how they sounded. I knew how they smelled. I knew like how they would dress. It was just in my head. So when I was creating the cover, that was a whole thing on its own because I'm like, I wanted a cover, but I used AI, but I didn't want it to look like an AI cover. Because sometimes you can look at Sometimes you can look at them and you could just be like, that's AI, whatever. I didn't want that. And so it had took me maybe like 3 weeks to get it right because I had never used AI before. And so I was like, I asked somebody like, how? Because I was just going to have somebody like paint them, draw them, take a picture. I don't know. And so somebody's like, have you tried using it? Look it up on Canva or something. So I was on Canva trying to create it, and Canva was trying to fuck out of me. They was missing fingers.
Yo, they are terrible.
Yes.
It was raggedy. So I was just trying to scour the internet, and it just wasn't giving me what I was looking for. So then one day I just sat up, and when I tell you every detail, I was like, I want their brows to be like this. I want their, and like, I literally went from top to bottom, just
that's dope.
Any detail, like a dimple, a mole, or what, like just, and so I was just very detailed. And finally, when these girls came out, I like got chill bumps because I was like, these are my girls.
These are your girls.
These are my girls. Like they look how I envisioned them in my head. And so once I had that, I'm like, all right. So I was, figuring out the font or whatever. And then it literally came out like this. And when it did, and then I wanted it to be matte because I don't feel like gloss really does black skin justice sometimes. Like, I don't know.
Get you. Sometimes it can come out looking a little like oily or something yeah. But this, I literally couldn't even tell how you created it. I mean, these look like just really beautiful airbrush.
Yeah, like that doesn't look like AI at all.
It doesn't. And this absolutely
I thought it was like
got my attention.
Girls that took a picture and and then framed it and then it came out like that.
Yeah, no, people are always asking like, who are these girls? Who are these girls? I'm like, shit, I made them up in my head.
That's crazy because that was a question I had. Like, who was the girls on the cover? So now I know.
I had to go through so much details. Like, I was just like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to duplicate this. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to duplicate this. So that's the cover question. What was the second?
What character surprised you the most as you was writing this story? Like you was like, God damn, like you was writing.
Like, dang, like she doing this and she's doing this. Yeah.
I'm turning myself up. Like, let's go. Keep going.
Even though like I'm writing this or whatever, these girls are stressing me out and I was writing them. Like it would be times
that's what I wanted to ask. Yeah, keep going.
It's really like, but it's like you don't have to do this.
Yes.
You could rewrite it, but let's keep going.
Right. And so I think all of them, what pissed me off, I'll just do with the most obvious, which was Tiana.
Okay.
Tiana was moving. I'm like, if you don't want to be with Keisha, just break up with her.
Just break up with her. But the way they was arguing, I mean, she wouldn't come home the whole night. And then she'd be like, oh, I'm out with the girls, like every single night. And I was like, listen, Keisha keep asking you where you been. And she wasn't making it a secret. Like she was all out with the other girl, like hands on her booty, kissing her in public. That's how she got caught with the friend, which is why she came home and got her butt tore up and wound up in the hospital. The way she was moving, she wasn't even trying to make it like, oh, this is a secret. No, girl, you gonna get caught up. I just
and you in Atlanta.
I didn't know Keisha was gonna
the worst place to be. I only went to Atlanta one time. I was on Peachtree Street, and I just felt like everybody was gonna see me when I was outside. You know, I was by the Hooters. With all the hotels down P, and I thought that I was just like, I thought I was somebody, and I was absolutely nobody.
No, it's like I said, going back to the person that I know, that was her. Like she's the. Bring Shorty around and like they be out and about kicking. I'm like, and so Tiana, obviously, it was just like the way she was moving. And I think it had, I don't know, it's something like an arrogance to you.
Yeah.
Where you just like, no, she good. She ain't going nowhere. Like, we
good.
You bring
they have been
like,
together for so long. Yep.
Think about it. Lauren's like an IG baddie. So, she has like a following. They in the club together. She bringing Shorty. They dropping in and stuff. I'm
literally. That's why I was like, y'all are out at a club. Anybody could take pictures of y'all. Anybody could see it. She wasn't like hiding her. Her friends even knew about the side girl. They just like, be careful. Like,
because
you got, you know what I mean? But it was, I swear, she gave me the most heart attacks because I'm just thinking you gonna get caught. And then she does get caught. I mean, and Keisha 1-2 pieces her. It was crazy that Keisha still wanted to be together even after that because she was just like, yeah, we can work it out. I'll do whatever. I'm sorry. Girl, you put me in a coma.
But even that, like, toxic relationships really be like that. It's like y'all both went to jail. You done stabbed this man, and
but you also captured lesbian you captured lesbian relationships, because that's what I was saying. One of my closest friends, one of my relatives, even was in a lesbian, like an LGBTQ relationship. You know, she's girl and girl, and the drama, the toxicity, they would fight all the time and get right back together. Because that's just, anyway, when I was reading it, I was like, this captures like lesbian relationships. They're toxic. They be having this woman, no, I'm sorry, I don't really like her, I want to come back with you. They go back and forth. So I just felt like that was super realistic, even though her story gave me an anxiety attack every time she would go out. Like, take your ass home.
No, like when my readers would reach out to me, as soon as I would get a message, they'd be like, Tiana, no, Tiana, no. And I'm like, just, why is he doing it? Why is he doing it? I'm like, just keep reading. So I was going to say, the most obvious would be Tiana. I want to say who, like, Jace didn't necessarily shock me, but I wanted it to be real, and I wanted people to take away how, like, when you are operating, when you're trying to date and you're not fully healed from something else, you don't always make the best decisions.
Yep.
And so on paper, Cameron probably would have been the better person for Jace if she was in a healed place, because Cameron, like, what she wanted from Shane, Cameron was willing to offer that to her. Yeah. And then it was just like, Jordan, you know, he's in and out of town. It's fun. It's exciting. But I think if she would have just like taken some time to just like, girl, what they doing outside? She would have took some, I'm like, oh my God. They would have took some time to just like heal. She might have ended up in a different situation. But I also feel like things don't always pan out with a happily ever after.
Yeah, I think that was very realistic, especially that's why I was so happy that you were saying that you were going to write a sequel. And the sequel takes place, what, 10 years later?
No, it's 3.
3 years. 3 years later. Okay. I knew it was way, way in the future. And that's why I was just really hoping, because I wanted Jace to have her happy ending.
We got to hold
something
that
may
thought
happen.
too.
Yeah,
Make sure we hold that thought, because that question was coming. That question I wanted to ask her a question, and we'll definitely talk about that later on. But finishing up the book, this is gonna be an easy question, right? Well, not easy, but what do you hope your readers feel when they close this book for the last time?
When they close the book,
seemingly for the last time until another round.
When they close the book, honestly, I want them to miss the girls, because like when I finish right now, I like miss them. I'm like,
I do too. I really did.
But I want them to feel seen, and I want them to know that like people, like, you just have to meet people where they are. And a lot of times, like, especially when we read books, like, people get really mad, like, she's stupid or she blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, we all been there. We all done fell on our face. We all done did some stupid shit. We all been, I know I have. Listen, I still be making them. Listen.
No, for real. Y'all know the professional book talk here, but in my private life, it's a mess. Like, I still be fucking up sometimes, but I just keep it cute.
Keep it cute.
Yeah, you see?
No, and I think just like to number one, feel like seen, and also just like look around at the people you have around you. Because if you don't have friends that's gonna ride for you like these ones, then you really need to like maybe take another like look. And the thing about with the friendship that I love is they didn't always agree with each other, but it never got nasty. They'll call each other out like,
oh, they definitely did. They did.
You know, like, they wasn't just like, oh no, not my friend. Like, and also something in the book that I wanted to do, even when Tiana and Lauren kind of had that falling out by how Tiana kind of dismissed Madison, and Lauren was like, yo, you flawed as fuck for that. And, you know, Tiana didn't want to hear that, but they weren't speaking. But when Abuela had that stroke and Lauren needs to get to New York, Tiana's like, not only am I getting you to the airport, I'm coming with you.
With you. Exactly.
That's friendship.
And it's just like, and with true friendships, y'all may have little spats, whatever, but when it really matters,
everything is out the window.
Who's in your corner? Who's really going to show up for you?
And I really like that part of the book too a lot. You see all these situations that come on threads like, well, my friend did this, like, what would I do? And would you stop being friends with your friend if they cheated? And every time I hear those conversations, I just shut my mouth, because I'm just thinking, this is my girl. Like, I can be like, yeah, what you did was fucked up, without being like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And that was my favorite part of the book.
She didn't cheat on her nigga with mine.
Literally.
Right. I be telling people that.
And that was one thing that I will say. Anybody who wants to pick up this book, this is a friendship built in love. Like, they have each other's back through everything, even when they argue, even when they fight, even when they cuss each other out, even when they say, look, you did Madison dirty. Like, you really messed up. They still are friends and they have each other's back. And it's just about friendship and it's about love. And it really made me so envious because my best friend, of course, he's in Atlanta, or not Atlanta, Chicago. I don't see him anymore. He's been my best friend since high school. I know I miss him so much, but it just made me so envious. It made me want to be with my friend. And like you said, having friends in your life who literally, they got your back. And like I said, reading this book also felt like watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta because of all the crazy stuff that happens. Like, because it's drama after drama after drama after drama. And just the setting of the book was beautiful. The friendship was beautiful. I just really, really loved it. But
Thank
Jay
you.
has a
it
very,
is
very
like fuckery. Let's have a
literally.
Let's
and it also felt good to read about somebody else's life who was just going crazy when your life is going crazy. Because then it's just like, look, I thought I was doing crazy stuff, but I'm not a psychiatrist cheating on my girlfriend with my side girl and bringing her around and then get my ass tore up.
Man, some of the stories I can tell you, I can't say it no more.
Everybody's like, yo, Tiana ain't no better than a nigga. I'm like, that.
For real.
There was a part of me that wanted Tiana and Jace to get together. I remember Keisha was like, there was a part of her. No, for real, listen.
I know what you mean. I know where you're going
because
with it.
Keisha would get jealous when she would hang out with her friends. Like, she'd be like, oh, because you're going out with her. And they would go to the club and Jace and Lauren would like grind and dance on Tiana. I wanted them to get with her. I know it would have messed up the friendship
for real.
But there was just something about her. I wanted her to get with one of the friends. I knew it wasn't going to be Lauren. But I was like,
Jace and Tiana, they like messed around in college.
Yes. They had a little, so that's why I was just like, I could still feel their chemistry. I understood why Keisha was upset because they would always dance on each other. They're best friends. She would comment like, "Ooh, dang girl, you look good," and Tiana is gay. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And she's had it before. So it's another layer to her complimenting her. And there was a part of me, even while reading, I wanted them. I thought that I was like, they're gonna get together. And then they didn't. And I was sad. I was like,
say that because it's got that a few times. When people are like, Jace and Tiana should have got together. I'm like,
they should have got together. I felt it. I felt it, T. I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And then the whole thing happened with Cameron. And then we get to the end and we see that her and Cameron may or may not rekindle whatever they had. So I was like, okay. And of course, I knew she wasn't going to get with Tiana. And then Tiana's kind of crazy. I want better for Jason anyway. But it was still like, there was a part of me that wanted them to get together. I could not wait to ask you if you felt that when you were writing, if it ever went in that direction, or were you just like, yeah, that was college. They moved on.
Just like winging it in full transparency. The Jason Tiana situation, that literally happened to me. Like, one of my best friends, she's married now, but like in college, like we had this little like thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But like now that's like, it ain't nothing, like nothing at all. But I never wanted them to be together because I valued their friendship so much.
Yes.
And I just
like Jay
knew
said,
that if they ended up together, it was nothing else. This was more solid than them trying to be together.
Yeah, because I feel like, they shouldn't have been. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It would have. Jay had mentioned that earlier that he could see it, but he was like, it would have messed up the friendship, and it would have because if they're not friends, how does that work with Lauren? Like, they it would have just messed everything up. But I definitely, I could feel the tension in the book, and I liked it.
It pissed me off when I was talking about it. Was winking at Tiana motherfucking ass gonna tell Jace in the car when Cupid came on by 112. She's like, you remember this song? And Jace's like, oh yeah, it's from the song. She's like, no, do you remember this song? And Jace is like, girl, don't start. And she's like, I just want you to know I still have feelings for you. I'm like, why would you tell her this?
Why would you
tell her this? That made me angry.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but that's how you know the book resonates.
Real life. Like, it's happened to me a few times where I've had some friends be like, I like you more than, and it always changes the friendship because it's like once they tell me that they like me, it's just like anything that I say, like they start feeling some type of way because it's like,
and you can't be like cool with them.
You ain't say nothing.
And I feel like in women friendships, we are a little bit like gay anyway. Like, girl, yes. Like, girl, you look so good. Let me tap that booty. And you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, just, that's how I am with my friends. Like, girl, like smacking. Like, girl, you look fine. Like, you know.
Men are not like that.
Men are not like that. But women, we are like that. We're like, girl, if I was a man, I would tap that. I would, and doing that. And so when they cross that line and they tell you that they like you, then it becomes different because it's like now you can't just be casually friendly like that with them because they are going to think it means something that it doesn't. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, oh, well, she said that. So that maybe it's just like, no, this is how I always am with my friends
like,
who
Tiana,
are women.
why aren't you telling Jace this? Like, y'all about to go meet up with the dudes. Like, don't put this on her. And your life is a mess. You just don't know how to be by yourself.
That's what it was. She didn't know how to be by herself because she couldn't let go of Keisha, even though it was like, y'all relationship is over. Like, y'all both are cheating on each other. Keisha, she put you in a coma. And I hated that it took like almost the end of the book for her to be like, Keisha, no, this is not happening anymore. But they were still,
love.
No, she put her in a coma. Like she went to jail. She knocked her out. Then she had an abortion because she was sleeping with a man on the side. You know what I mean? And Tiana's been cheating on her the whole time, like with all these different women. They just had a very volatile relationship.
So that's how you know they love each other.
Trying to involve Jace in that when her shit wasn't figured out was just ridiculous. But I could feel that they had like something extra going on. And there was just a small part of me that was like, what would that be like? I wonder, but I really did want Jace to find her love, and I just don't think that was with Tiana. Like she was just kind of like, girl, you my girl. Don't do that.
Being this, we got to give you some praise before we move off the book and get into your other not hobby, but your other talents that you have. You are receiving a lot of high ratings with the average of 4.6 out of 5 on Goodreads. I don't know if you really noticed or checked that. So your book is resonating for a debut novel, Goodreads, TikTok. I've seen tons of people repost your videos and the reviews that you're getting on BookTok, on Bookstagram that I've seen have, for the most part, all have been positive, and they're really talking about the dynamics of the trio. So the follow-up, right? I was listening. Now we can get to your other talent, right? We know that. Well, you have a podcast, Conversations on the Balcony.
Too. Check it out.
So she has a podcast as well on Spotify, Conversations on the Balcony. And I was listening to your last episode, and can I say it? You said it. Hopefully I can say it. You turned your next novel in to your editor. So is that the, I don't know if I should, is that the, so I can edit up. Is that the sequel to Keep It Cute that you turned in? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to, seem like I was violating or doing anything. So I know that listening to the last episode,
then it's not a secret. But
so there is the sequel. You just turned it in. So how do you feel about that? I know it's a process with editing, but you sent it in. So what is your feelings?
If I'm being honest, I am nervous. Just because, like, with this one, it was 9 years in the making. I had no expectations. It could have, it was nothing. And so because this book because right out the gate, I'm getting such, like, great reviews.
High praise, yep.
It's just, like, it's a lot to kind of live up to.
Yeah.
Because it's like the follow-up people, they want it to be the same thing. And I think maybe intentionally, subconsciously, I wrote, when I made the sequel, I said it 3 years later. So I think what that does is I feel like it gives me a bit of a buffer to make the girls a little bit different, as opposed to like ends here and then it picks up 2 weeks later. So it's like
they've got a chance to grow.
Yeah, so now these girls, like, and Keep It Cute is like they're in their last year of their 20s. They're trying to figure it out. It ends. They just turned 30. So now they're 33. So now you're kind of in the thick of your 30s. Like, you move different. Also, like, the friendship is a little different. Like, your friendships, things that you did in your 20s, like your friendships in your 30s are a little bit different. And so now with book 2, it's a lot of like their backstory and like their internal stuff. Like this was like relationships and they homegirls. This is also they homegirls, but it's like their family dynamics. Like you get into Tiana and her mom and her sister and how, and kind of why she's the way that she is. You get Jace's backstory and kind of figure out, okay, I kind of see why she has these weird relationships with men. And then, Lauren and Trevor are together. However, now they've been together for 3 years and now, his mom is something. You know what I mean? Now you're dealing with different dynamics, and also it touches on a lot of when life happens, how that shifts relationships. Because things are good when they're good. When it's like, you can love somebody when it's easy, when it's just like, oh, you're beautiful and everything is great.
Yes.
But when like things happen in life, if let's say somebody loses their job, that shifts how people can show up in the world. So this one is a
Absolutely.
lot of like their internal like fighting and whatever, their internal like conflicts. But I feel like it's a solid piece of work. And I feel like the people who love these girls will connect with them. And I just hope that the readers allow them to grow.
Yeah.
So how do you balance having a podcast and writing a book and just juggling with everyday life? Because here we work and you know I have kids and me and Kia both married and you know just doing a podcast. But I could imagine writing a book because you know it's more intricate than just a job. You know this is your livelihood. This is your baby. You know so how do you balance that and having a podcast and then having to deal with the world?
You know I just be drinking sometimes.
I love that she's honest. She's not like, well, you know,
look,
I meditate and I
thought she was about to hit us with some philosophical answers. She like, yo, I just drink.
I be sipping from time to time. Yeah.
Well, how do I do it? With my podcast, I'm getting a lot better because I'll go through like phases when I'll like record it and times when I don't. With writing my book, I just I wouldn't force myself to write if I didn't feel compelled because I didn't want to just be on there writing like, you know, this like no bullshit.
Right.
So I would find inspiration in things. Like I would just go live life for a little bit or watch something. I would get inspired by so many different things or just life would happen. I'm like, oh shit, that'll be good for a story. And so I got in like grooves where I would just be every day, just like writing maybe 30 minutes, an hour a day. Sometimes I would be up. I would just wake up in the middle of the night with an idea, pull my laptop out and
just write.
Yeah, I would just write. I would just find the time. And then early on when I first started writing the sequel, which is actually titled Keep It Between Us. And so
keep it cute. I like it.
Thank you. So in the book is gonna be a trilogy. And so I wanted to be
girls for more time.
I wanted to be called the Keep It series. So the title will always be Keep It.
That's dope.
So the second one is Keep It Between Us. And I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. So when I started writing it, I was having a hard time just figuring out like what to do, how I wanted to do it, because I was so caught up in like, oh, you know, keep it cute, keep it cute. And I'm like, I had to kind of treat it as its own book in order for it to feel like authentic. And then when it first starts, I started a certain way and I'm like, this don't feel right. So then I just deleted it. Then I had an idea and I was like, oh, babe, okay, this is what we all do. This is what we all do. And so I don't know. I just found the time to do it. You know, some people are like, oh, when it's your passion, like it doesn't feel like work or whatever. And I'm like, maybe you just build a little different because me, sometimes it's like my brain hurt. I don't feel like dealing with these hoes today. I have, you know, I have moments like that. Or sometimes like, I remember I was writing a scene and the scene got so crazy that like it made me mad. I just like closed the thing because like when I tell you it got fucking popping, like I was literally like, hell no. And so I was like, why am I doing this?
That's immersive writing. That's what I call it. That's immersive writing.
Yes,
being in the club, you're writing your scene as you're in the club yelling, I'm about to do this and I'm gonna do this. Pick up bottle. Smash against woman's head.
Talking to like it was literally it's a scene like that in the book where it literally is like, first of all, who you talking to? And I just literally it's like I blanked out and the way she went off, I was like, girl, you did some good cussing. You know how to cuss real good. So yeah, I just, you know, I have, and not to get off mushy, like I'm literally just a girl with a book and a drink. And so sometimes I feel like I'm delusional. Like, bitch, are you delusional? Like, are you having like a midlife crisis?
Nah.
But then it's like everybody's delusional until it happens. I'm
Yes.
sure somebody's coming out and they're just like, I want to be a dancer. And people are like, girl, whatever. And then they become a dancer and it's
And they're
like
good at it.
delusional
Yes.
until it's not. And so
Until it's not.
I'm just like, I'm just going to keep doing it. And if people receive me, and it's not even like I'm like, before this, I've always just been, even though you say my personality, I'm usually kind of shy and more reserved. So like having to like,
Tell.
girl, that's
I
what I
can't
when the camera shut up. But yeah, I'm more like an observer, and
Uh-huh.
I have to fill out energy. And even when I first told you, I was like, oh, I like your energy. So it made me feel comfortable. So sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, I'm more like, let me peep and see what's going on, make sure I ain't no bullshit. And so
Yeah.
even like having to like promote myself or just reach out to people and be like, hi, Yasmeen, this is what I got going on. That's nerve wracking to like do that. But I'm like, this is just the heavy lifting to get me to where I'm going because I feel like I have something good. And like, even if, and something that I realized also is that I have to just, I was gonna say, you gotta use what you got to get what you want. But I literally just am like, I just use my charm. Like, I'm a charming person.
You are very, very sweet, very, very charming. I'm gonna just say that the first time we talked, I was like, that's why I told you, no, send me the link so I can buy the book. I'm not gonna get it on Kindle. I'm buying it, and I bought my copy. You know what I mean? Because you were just someone I was like, I would love to support. You're always super positive, very engaging. She's not one of those authors who like you're talking about somebody else's book and she's just like, hey, read mine. She so sweet, so kind, so charming. And just talking to you now, seeing that you're a real person, you are hilarious. I can't tell that you're shy at all. You know what I mean? I'm like, especially the characters that you write, the way you talk about them, they feel so real. You know what I mean? Like you're a real person. Like you're an author, yes. And I think as a reader, I hope that other people seeing this interview will realize that, you know, authors to us is you're like my celebrity. Like I'm talking to I read this person's book and now I get to talk to them. Like, you know what I mean? And just seeing that the authors they're real people. They do other things, kind of like Jay mentioned. You have a freaking podcast. You know what I mean? You don't just write books. You're an accountant. You wrote a podcast. You live in Atlanta. Like you're bringing all of those experiences to your book. And I feel like that's why readers resonate with the story so much because it feels alive. Like it feels like we're reading a part of you. And I think that that's just very, very beautiful. I really do.
So,
girl, you know how to hype somebody up.
Oh yeah, she. So the
my
last
damn earring off.
No, look,
you good? Look, house fell too earlier.
wardrobe malfunction.
And finishing it up, right? These are the last, two questions that I do want to ask you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is your writing and editing process, and what resources as far as like editing, could you recommend to other authors that's struggling to find their it factor in just the writing process in general? And then, what is which is the same follow-up question. What is the hardest part about, getting your novel out into the world or any like, because it ain't all just, glamour. They see the end of it. But,
Yeah.
As somebody, this is your first book. What were some of the struggles in the two questions that I asked you just now?
I'll start with the last one. I think the hardest part about just getting the book out is probably just like getting out of your head because I was in my head a lot with this book. Like me and my editor was going back and forth and I was getting to the point where I was like kind of self-sabotaging where I'm like, well, I feel like it need a semicolon instead of a whatever. He's just like, girl, quit playing with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quit playing with me. And so I think just like getting out of your own head and just realize if you're writing from an honest space, people connect to authenticity.
Really, they
People
do.
can tell when you're like putting on, or people could tell when like you're not being honest or like you fronting or whatever. Like people can tell. So I think if you just write it from an honest place, people connect to that, to like relatable like things. And then once my book was out in hand, the hardest part is just like marketing, like finding like readers or just find a community, because prior to this book, I wasn't a social media person. Like I had like my Instagram, which was my private page, and I would get on there like once a month, maybe. Like,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
wouldn't really. I just like to live my life, and I just like to be out here floating and like dancing in my living room, whatever. And so having to like, I didn't even know that like Book Talk, Bookstagram. I didn't even know there was a space that people be going hard for books. Like, I didn't even know
Yes.
this was a thing until I got to the space, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yo,
Like,
it's
what the
tough.
fuck? Like, what is this? Like, this is crazy. And so having to do that, like, not knowing anything, like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what an FMC meant. I didn't know what an MMC meant. I didn't know what a TBR was. I didn't know what an ARC was. I didn't DNF, all these
bookish terms
All
and
these
yeah.
acronyms.
I'm to be learning all this new stuff. I'm too old for this. And so I was just like, okay, what do I know? Like, what can I do? And so I was just like, all right, I'm just going to reach out to people. I'm just going to reach out to people. I'm going to introduce myself. And when I do reach out, I'm just like, I say, hi, how are you? I say, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm T. Yasmeen. I'm a first time author. No pressure to buy the book. I would just really appreciate your support and consideration. And most people are like, girl, hell yeah. What's up? Like,
Literally.
yeah, like, okay,
Especially
what's
my
up?
Black authors, always, always,
And you will
always.
find
And so
that it's a
people
lot of
just started
support.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
supporting me, and I'm just like, oh my God. And then I'm like, okay, I gotta talk on TikTok. I gotta make videos. And I'm like, girl, I hate that. Be like, hey. Like,
Yeah,
oh
when
my
I
God.
first seen her, I was like, because I was like, I hope she don't get tired of doing it. Because I was like, I didn't know if you was tired of it. Because one video I was like, I hope she don't get tired of it because she's doing a wonderful job marketing and promoting.
No,
This was
Listen,
you
I was
supposed
really
to
like,
be
do.
yeah.
See you every
sounding
single
cheerful, looking
day.
cheerful.
Literally looking good, looking cheerful, sounding cheerful. Like I'm always liking it, sharing it because I think you do a really great job. And like you said, marketing. I feel like I'm not an author, but even as me, Jay, and Jules, we have this podcast. Marketing is the biggest part. Like you have something to say, you want to get this message out, but how do you get it out in a non-annoying way? You don't want to annoy people. You don't want to make them angry. You just want to, hey, check this out. You know what I
Party
mean?
going on over here.
Literally, party over here. Hey, I'm an author. I have a book. But on your podcast, you even said you've sold 630 copies of your book, which is amazing. And this being your first book. Like, that's why I said the Goodreads reviews are amazing. You've sold over 630 copies. Like, you're doing an absolutely amazing, fantastic job. Like, especially this is your first book and you already are working on your second. And may I just say congratulations for that as well, because this first book, if you've been listening, she told us it took 9 years of writing back and forth. This second book, she's already turned into her editor. So when can we expect that one to be released? Sometime this year, sometime next year?
It's definitely going to be this year. I'm hoping to release this summer.
Nice.
So it could be, a little summer read or whatever, but I'm hoping to release this summer. And I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I just feel like I'm a Black woman. I could do anything. So
Absolutely.
I actually started writing the script because I want to adapt Keep It Cute into a TV series. I've never
let's go. Let's go.
I've never written
here
literally, that was one of the questions. Sex in the City, that's like a popular TV show. The girls in the book, that's like their favorite show or movie that they like to put on. We need a Black Sex in the City, and we're going to call it Keep It Cute. I mean, because these women, I would watch a TV show with these girls in it. What a name, too. Keeping It Cute. You know what I mean? We got Girlfriends from the 90s. Now we got Keep It Cute. Like a more modern, urban. Yes, I'm so excited.
That's what I'm talking about.
And like I said, I've never written a script before. And I was telling my homegirl, I'm like, and she was like, girl, you ain't never wrote a book before until you did.
Literally, and you did. And a second one, and now a script. So more to come from T. Yasmeen. That's what I hear, at least. She got the script coming. Are you thinking about writing any other books? I know Keep It Cute is going to be a trilogy. So the next one is Keep It Between Us, and there's a third one after that. But is there any other thing that you're interested in writing, or you want to keep it with the kind of romantic drama?
You know what? I want to just be inspired to do whatever.
Yes.
And sometimes, like, I don't feel like you always get licensed to do that, where they're just like, you have to do this thing. But I also feel like because I'm like new to this space, I'm not necessarily of it. I'm just like navigating it. And I try to like keep that separation so I don't get so caught up in like what's trendy or whatever. But I started writing this story. It's a standalone, and I think it's gonna be, I don't even know the trope. It's pretty much like finding love after like death, you know? And so it's going to be fiction. And literally, I was sitting on my couch. My couch is my creative plate. I was sitting on my couch one day. I was listening to a song, and I was like, I know I could do something. So I started writing it. It's only like 60 pages in, but
that's okay. I mean, you don't even have to be that long.
Exactly.
I've started reading novellas now, and I'm like, that's just enough, like short, sweet, to the point. So however long you want to make it, 60, 150,
take your
300
time.
pages. Take your time. Yes.
I started to realize as I'm like navigating this space, I don't think I'm a novella girly. Like, I'll read them, but I think my writing style, I think I'm like a novelist. Because I like to give the details. I like to paint a picture. And I don't know. I think I just write thick books. She thick, I'm thick.
I feel the same way. This is a thick book. This book is 400 pages. 402 pages. This is a thickum. So it's a thickum.
Yeah, she's thick. She's thick.
And that's okay. Like I said this early on the podcast, the details that you give, the characters, the scenery. I'm telling you, I've never been to Atlanta. You live there. Jay has been, but I feel like I was in Atlanta when I was reading this.
I only went to one restaurant. I went to Sea Salt Lounge or something like that. And I went to some Andretti indoor kart racing thing.
Andretti's?
Yeah, I went to Andretti.
That's where Madison and Tiana went. They went to Andretti.
They did.
Andretti, like those are only two places. And we went to Sea Salt and we went to Andretti. And then we went to like some rooftop thing. I don't know. It was
a bunch of rooftop places. You guys come too. You guys both have to come and like hang out, whatever.
Atlanta, it's definitely one of my places to visit. It's on my bucket list. Like, I definitely want to visit. But I feel like
I go to the strip club and eat some wings. I heard those wings is fire.
Strip club and going to the
stuff.
You may
I hear the chicken wings in the strip club is fire in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I never been to
go to the strip club for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the other stuff, it's gonna be there.
Yeah,
I just want some chicken.
For that too. That's always
he said he just wants some chicken.
It's just like a regular club. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't know.
These things have like business meetings and stuff there.
Like, meet me at the club.
Meet me at the club.
Do the business meeting. Yeah, we'll sign some papers. We eat some chicken and it'll be good. That's why I said I need to get to Atlanta. I felt like I was in Atlanta reading your book. And like you said, you put a lot of details. I talked about this, the clothes, the shoes, the perfumes that the women wear. I'm telling you, follow their beauty routine. You will not have any money, but you will smell really good. There's so many perfumes mentioned that I was looking up. I'm like,
girly.
Yeah.
Like, I love like Stephanie perfumes. Like, I love perfumes. I don't know. I just love smelling good because it's like, because you smell something before you see it.
Yes.
So like, if you walk in the space and somebody smell good and you turn around, hopefully they look good. Because ain't nothing like somebody smelling good. They turn around and you just like, you playing games.
I used to wear Canvas Beauty Body Glaze, and it was this caramel brulee flavor. And every single time people would be like, we don't see you, but we smell you. That's how we always know you're here, because they'd be like, yeah, I knew you was in that hallway because I smelled you coming.
I smelled you.
Yeah, and that would be I would just love the fact that people think I smell good and they smell something good. They're like, that's Kiera. I'm telling y'all, buy the perfumes in this book. You ain't gonna have no money, like I said, but y'all smell good. I literally inboxed her like, yeah, why are you trying to make me go broke? This is
you break up the paycheck. Don't do all this in one paycheck. If you tell me I can't pay rent.
And I'm like, T, give me the money. I spent it on the perfume. I don't have nothing left.
Right.
Before we get out of here, Miss Yasmeen, is there anything that you're doing? Are you doing any type of pop-ups, or you going on the road with the book, as far as like doing any sign-ins, anything like that, so the people possibly can reach out to you? Because one thing I want to ask you as far as with that question is, how can readers show up and support indie authors such as yourself?
Okay. Yeah. Well, support indie authors. Just, follow them. If they post stuff, repost it, tell other people about it, leave comments. And also, like, if you like a book, like, tell the author, like, I really like this book. I can't speak for everybody, but like the indie authors, my little pocket of indie authors that I've met, we have like a little community. They're super sweet. Like, they love stuff. I know, like, on Threads, people be having weird dynamics with people. So I don't know, rate the room. But
Threads is weird.
Listen, it's a strange place.
It's a very strange place.
Just like be supportive, tell a friend to tell a friend. And, just if you can, buy it from the author directly, because Amazon be trying you. because Amazon be trying you. But I would just say, just like support them. If you like a book, leave reviews. If you buy a book, leave a review, whether it's on Goodreads, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Like, leave reviews, because that's what engages people. Because when people are looking at a product, the first thing they do is look at the reviews. So if they see like, oh, it's only 2 people reviewed this, like, I'm like, I don't know. So like, just leave reviews. As of right now, I have some things in the work a little later on in the year. However, my book is actually, I just got approved for it to be in this other. It's actually going to be in 4 indie bookstores.
Hey,
it's currently
congratulations!
thank you. It's currently in Grassroots Bookstore in Phoenix, Arizona, Honey and Hue Bookstore in Chicago, Shelf Love in Atlanta, and then the Garden of Reading in Indianapolis.
I live there, literally. I was waiting. Oh my gosh. You said Garden. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I live in Indianapolis. I already got a copy, but I'm going to go get another one.
I just shipped my books to them on Monday, so hopefully they should be in stock by this weekend. But yeah, so that's kind of what I have going on. Just follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads. It's t.yasmeen80. And I'm super friendly, so if you comment, I respond. We be in here just having a cackle. We be kiki. Yeah, listen, one thing I'm going to do is laugh. And don't not be funny. Don't not be funny, but I'm going to laugh because something wrong with me.
No, for real, I love to have fun. My face be hurting at the end of the day because I be just laughing at any and everything. You know what I mean? All the time.
All the time.
It could be the world could be in it and I'm going to start laughing. Just because it's absurdity. I'm like, this is absurd. I could not believe this is happening. This is real trifling.
This is ghetto. This is...
We thank you, Yasmeen, for sitting with us and talking with us, giving us, an hour and some change of your time. We appreciate you, y'all. Please, please, please go and support T. Yasmeen. Keep it cute. You can get it in Barnes and Noble. You can get it off of Amazon, but we prefer you to get it off of straight from the consumer, straight from the person who's selling it. Where can they buy the book if they want to get it straight from you?
It is on my TikTok shop, and they can always send me a DM and I can get it out to them.
Okay, y'all heard it here first. We have T. Yasmeen with us today, and we appreciate your time. Until next time, y'all, Keys to Read. I'm just a speaker. Juice is the architect. Peace.
Peace. Bye.